Hello, I'm Moira Alderson with the BBC News. President Biden says a new Texan law vastly restricting access to abortion blatantly violates women's constitutional rights. A landmark ruling in 1973 legalised abortion across the United States until the 24th week of pregnancy. But Texas has banned all terminations in the state if a fetal heartbeat can be detected. That's often by around 6 weeks before most women know they're pregnant. The White House spokesperson Jen Psaki said that the legislation was deeply concerning.
It's an extreme threat. This is offering up to $10,000 to individuals who report someone who is going to get an abortion. I mean, that is what we're talking about here, and beyond that. So yes, of course it's of great concern, because this is not the first time that there have been efforts by some in the country to prevent a woman from having the right to choose.
The US State Department says it's evacuated 123,000 people from Afghanistan since the middle of August. They include 6,000 US citizens, as well as tens of thousands of Afghans who were at risk because they or their relatives worked for US forces. The US Under-Secretary of State, Victoria Nuland, said potential evacuees were being contacted.
We've been in contact with them in the last 24 hours to tell them that we are looking at all possible options, air routes, land routes, to continue to find ways for them to help evacuate and to support them in that. We're trying to ascertain who precisely still wants to leave, who their dependent family members are, what routes may or may not feel comfortable to them.
50,000 people have been forced to leave the Lake Tahoe area of California as firefighters continue to battle a huge wildfire that's been growing for more than 2 weeks. The Caldor fire is one of 15 large wildfires in California. Peter Bowes reports.
More than 82,000 hectares of tinder-dry forest have been destroyed so far, and there are fears that as many as 35,000 buildings are under threat in nearby residential areas. Snowmaking equipment normally used during the winter ski season has been brought in to douse buildings with water to protect them from the flames. Officials say containment lines have been carved around a fifth of the fire's perimeter, but unpredictable winds are still hampering the firefighting effort.
All schools have been ordered to close in Nigeria's northwestern Zamfara state following the latest mass abduction of students. On Wednesday morning, armed men swept into a secondary school on motorbikes and pickup trucks. A teacher said 76 students and a member of staff had been taken. Reports say more children may have been seized as 400 were enrolled at the school. At least one child was critically injured. Kidnappings of school children continue unabated in northern Nigeria, despite the deployment of thousands of troops. BBC News. President Joe Biden has reaffirmed the United States' commitment to Ukrainian sovereignty in the face of what he described as Russian aggression. Mr. Biden held talks with Ukrainian leader Volodymyr Zelensky at the White House on Wednesday. Before their meeting, Mr. Zelensky said he hoped to discuss the possibility of Ukraine joining NATO. But in a statement following the meeting, the White House said that Ukraine would need to undergo deep and comprehensive reforms to be able to fulfill its European and Euro-Atlantic aspirations. Security in Indian-administered Kashmir has been stepped up following the death of a prominent separatist leader. Syed Ali Gilani died after a long illness at his home in the capital, Srinagar, at the age of 92. Naresh Kaushik reports.
Syed Ali Shah Gilani was the most hardline separatist leader of Indian-administered Kashmir. He opposed all bilateral talks with the Indian government unless Delhi agreed to a plebiscite mandated under the UN resolutions passed many decades ago. India dismissed this, calling the resolutions irrelevant in modern times. Gilani was an elected member of the State Assembly for more than 15 years until he resigned at the start of an armed insurgency in 1989. His death comes 2 years after India stripped Kashmir of its autonomy and imposed a security clampdown.
The Portuguese football star Cristiano Ronaldo has beaten the all-time record for international goals as he scored his 110th against the Republic of Ireland. The goal edged him past the previous record holder, the Iranian striker Ali Daei. Ronaldo, who is widely regarded as one of the greatest players of all time, then scored again in injury time, clinching a 2-1 victory for Portugal in their World Cup qualifier. He recently made headlines when he was signed up by his former club, Manchester United. BBC News.